Okay. I want to talk for a second about poorly designed StarCraft 2 units, because I think there is a big issue here, and I'm going to give you my all-time greats of poorly designed units.
Sounds
okay.
good.
First up, the Sentry.
Yeah.
The Sentry in Wings of Liberty, I think, basically fucked the entire game up for all time. Okay? The fact that the Sentry, I used to call it like a map editor robot or something, because it's like, how broken is that? You're literally making impassable terrain and changing terrain. Terrain is like everything for engagements. We saw what MC did with it. The thing is, all Protoss units had to be nerfed because of how strong the Sentry was. In StarCraft 1, all the Protoss units have way more health and damage than everything else for the other races, because they can't alter the map's design at the beginning of the game, or at all, but at the beginning of the game, right? So Sentry really screwed up a lot. Number 2, Blink screwed up a lot.
I like Blink.
Blink is a great, it's a great ability. I love it, but I'm just saying Blink screwed up map design heavily.
Yeah.
Liberators, same thing, screwed up map design heavily.
Are shit.
It is so hard to get maps made how you want them because of how mobile those units are with the amount of abuse they can do. Anyways, back to the, I don't think the Blink Stalker is poorly designed. I'm just saying that screwed things up. Other poorly designed units, the Swarm Host.
Yeah,
after we already had the Broodlord. Dude, I called this when they first announced what it was.
What were they thinking?
I had a show back then. I think it was called Meta, and I was trying to tell people, and no one was listening to me before the game came out. I'm like, this is going to be 10 times worse than Broodlord Infestor, because the range is much longer and it's underground, which means it's fucking invisible.
And also,
it's insane.
When you
like,
think
it is
about
the
the
worst
Broodlord,
idea.
Like, the Broodlord, you need to trigger a Broodling to go out, so you can't basically just have a map. Like, the Swarmos, you could set a rally point and it would constantly control the map, you know? But in like the Broodlord did not do that. So, for example, the real range of a Swarmos was huge, right? Compared to a Broodlord. The real range of a Broodlord is only when it actually gets close enough that the Broodlings can come down. Yeah. The real range of the Swarmos was the entire area in which a Swarmos locust could live.
So consistent as well. And obviously it's been changed a lot now. I kind of dig it right now, but
no, now it's totally different. Yeah. But back then, when it first came out and people were abusing it, it was just shit.
Another unit that bugs me unit design wise, and I don't think any RTS should ever do this again, is the Oracle. Yeah. The fact that you have a unit that is literally only designed for harassment. The fun thing about harassing is finding regular units and then figuring out how to utilize them for harassment. When you have a unit that is purely zoned in on doing that, it either does way too much or it gets hard countered and it does nothing. And it's like, oh. But then you look at like the Reaver and you're like, well, that's just a great unit because now I can just pull it back if it's countered, right? And it has a different function.
Do you remember the period of time where Zergs were like, they would build Hydras and Queens and all this stuff, and then like 30 Oracles would fly in and kill literally everything? Yeah. Like, there was no way for a period of time to stop the mass Oracle.
Everything. Yeah.
It was so frustrating.
I was like, no, there's definitely a way. And then Damaga messaged me, and he's like, Dan, no, really, go into the map editor and try. And I did. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, it so actually kills everything.
Annoying.
It actually kills everything. Yeah. Or it did at that time.
It did. It did for a while. Yeah.
And
then there was that bug where it just shot faster.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, that was fun.
That was funny. There's two more units that I think are really poorly designed as well. Disruptor, the all or nothing amount of damage. It's so not fun to play with or against, really. I hate the Disruptor design.
The only thing with the Disruptor is that is one that is fun to watch, but I do agree.
Yes, it is fun to watch for fans sometimes. And it definitely adds a different comeback potential. And then the Cyclone. Cyclone is one of the worst things I've ever seen designed in any game. The fact that first off, it's been changed so many times. Well, I mean, the Viper, we can talk about that one second. But the Cyclone locking on and it just auto shoots while it moves and stuff from like a huge range, and it's been changed so many times, which shows how bad the design is. It's just not a well-designed unit. What do you think about my all-star list of poorly designed Sentry, Oracle, Swarm Host, Disruptor, Cyclone?
It's funny. I think all of them could work, but yeah, the the way they were designed and the way they were used. So like, yeah, Sentries for a while when there were no Ravagers, for example, Immortal Sentry was just the worst thing ever. Like you were caught out in any way, you lost half your army, game was over, or like he's near your nat and he can somehow force field you and then kill your third. I mean, like there was just so much they could do. Even then when you did take a head-on fight, it was like, well, I'm just taking the worst fight ever because I can't do anything in terms of getting closer. So it's like half the army gets cut, you lose half your roaches, and then the other half is just sitting behind force fields doing nothing. So, yeah, it's shit unit for sure.
Yeah. What really kills me about the Sentry is how they had to change all map design and the strength of every other Protoss unit because of it.
And then they just put the Ravager in.
Yeah.
Like,
and then in now Sentries are barely used, but we're stuck with these shit stats and shit map ideas.
Now
because of how strong the Sentry was for years.
Hallucinations and Guardian Shield. Like
it's just so it was like I understand the idea of like wouldn't that be cool, but like no, you're editing the map design that's broken. Like what are you doing? It's echoed throughout the years. Like that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah. No, Swarm Host bad. Vipers are definitely not a great design. Like I kind of
you don't like Viper. Tell me what you don't like about
I just don't like the Viper because it disincentivizes again engagements because you just get your shit yanked into you.
It's true.
So and also again mistakes or anything Vipers you don't even have to be very close to yoink them yoink really expensive units into your army and they just insta die. So
yeah.
I don't know.
It is kind of silly and broken. It's just like a flying defiler. They tried to make it. Even looks like it. They didn't even try to hide what they were doing.
It's just got little wings.
Yeah, instead of eating Zerglings, it eats Extractor health, which is like even cheaper, which is insane as well.
And that's something you could just queue up to, right? Like it's not like you have to actually.
Yeah, you don't even have to click to do it. Yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy.
Void Ray is kind of a shit design for a different reason.
You might be right
you remember the old Void Ray where like you charge it up and then it was like the best unit ever, right? Like the old Void Ray when it was charging and then it was like, oh, it's fully charged, GG. It was like that was
Juggle
an interesting
charges
design.
Across the map. Remember that?
Yeah, and now it's like, oh, it's really good against some units and it's absolute dog shit against others.
Yeah,
like, oh, that's a fun unit design. I don't know. Like Void Rays, their existence is to be Corruptor killers and Overlord killers in the beginning of the game, and that's it. That's or cheese, but Void Ray cheese is fucking stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't really do much.
It doesn't
anymore.
work. You could literally queen stop it. So
yeah, And it had, I mean, it's so not useful in certain situations. It kills me that like they can look really strong and then like one parasitic bomb comes out and they're all gone, and you're like, wait. Those cost a lot.
The Void Ray is like the one unit you watch get fungal biled, by the way, like every fucking time. Anytime you see a sick clip of a fungal bile combo, it's the Void Ray dying. Like,
yeah, very oftentimes.
I don't know, man. Yeah, the Void Ray is just, I don't know. It's just bad design for a different reason. I just feel like it doesn't have a very good place.
I have this idea in the back of my head that I'm gonna share right now. So. I think maybe we already talked about this. Whether we did or not, I don't think it was said out loud to the world. But yeah, I think this is something we were talking about like 3 days ago or something. But like, okay, so you know how they made Overwatch 2, where it's like basically not Overwatch 2?
Yeah.
And so, but it's
Overwatch
like
1.5.
Yeah, basically. We could do that with StarCraft 2. We could literally make StarCraft 3. Like, you could keep the graphics, keep the engine. Yep. What if they just made an update where they're like, okay, we take out all the poorly designed units and we add in their Brood War counterparts? Can you imagine how hype StarCraft 2 would be if suddenly StarCraft 3 came out, they took out the Disruptor, they put in the Reaver, right? They took out the Cyclone and put in, I don't know, they took out the Thor, put in the Goliath, right? Just add a few of the really classic Brood War units, and, like, that's about it, right? Like, do something like that. Obviously, there's some other changes I would like to see with, like, the amount of miners you start with and stuff like that. But if you did something like that, that would be badass. You take out the Oracle, right? You know, you can add in... fucking, I don't know, put the Arbiter in there instead of the Mothership. Like, if you did those things, can you imagine Protoss with Arbiters instead of one Mothership Can you imagine them without the disruptor and instead with a Reaver? And you do that with a few other units, like add a Firebat
also,
and a Terran, maybe. I don't know.
Wouldn't be bad even to see like things like Warp Gate go away, because I don't think Warp Gate is necessarily a fun mechanic. Like, I don't know about you, but does anybody
macro without looking
does anybody
at your
love a Warp Prism flying into your base and then them building an army in your base? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Silly.
I don't know about you guys, but that's not very fun to me. No, I think that would be interesting. Nobody here, not a single person, and if you do care, you're wrong. Not a single person here actually wants StarCraft 3 to have better graphics or something like that. And you know, like, if StarCraft 2's graphics are totally fine in 2024.
Yeah.
The StarCraft 2 engine and graphics are literally better than any RTS that's come out in the last 5 to 10 years, in my opinion. It's such a smooth.
You're right.
It's such a smooth engine. The graphics look phenomenal when the graphics are turned up. The only thing is it could be better optimized. I really don't understand why it runs so shitty. On like, it only uses 2 cores or something.
Yeah,
like,
that was a design choice they made way back. I remember people talking about that.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, they should just take StarCraft 2's engine and their graphics and all the stuff that they have. They should remove some of the shit that really sucks, and especially the game design or whatever. They should call it StarCraft 3. They should probably make it free to play, you know, and I think they would have a phenomenal, very cheap RTS that would potentially do really well.
Dude, it would be so hype to just switch around enough that it actually is fresh. It actually is like a StarCraft 3, which would be like,
and if you do it right,
all the good ideas from 1 and all the good ideas from 2, you put that shit together. That is award winning. That, like, I would play the shit out of that.
I was
going to
say,
so much
if you
fun.
do it right too, there is a world where you might be able to pull the Brood War elitists in too. You know what I mean?
All the Brood War guys were playing StarCraft 1 versus StarCraft 2. That was
but they
fun.
always go back.
That was cool.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying, like,
and I don't think they'd leave Brood War, but like,
well, they
would
probably
be sick
not.
though.
They might not. I don't know. I feel like if you make a game that's interesting enough to their audiences and them, that they could probably switch. You know what I mean? I don't know if Legacy alone holds Brood War in its standing. You know, I don't think Legacy alone is why people play Brood War. I think it's because the mechanics or the draw of Brood War is still very alluring.
It's the mechanical draw of everything.
Yeah, and if they could somehow capture that, which I don't think they can, because if they do that, they basically eliminate Gen Z and everybody who has TikTok brain. So we kind of need those people. Those people are very important. We need TikTok brain people in our RTSs. Yeah, can't just be old people that back in our day we had to press all the keys and do all the things. You know, we need new blood. So, but yeah, no, they should do that. There should not be a new ground up StarCraft 3. Like, it doesn't make sense. There's already such a good engine and such a good foundation.
And there's no one to make it anyways. Everyone left Blizzard that had anything to do with RTS. So like, this is such an easy, low hanging fruit type of thing where I would love to see it. I mean, these units are already coded in the game too.
Yeah, it would be. They could make StarCraft 3 the way we're describing it in literally a month, with like not even a very big team. If they really wanted to, they could push it through. Yeah. The efforts would be more around the trailer than the game itself.
Yeah, and honestly, like, even if they were like, well, no, we want to do StarCraft 3 later, it's like, okay, well, why don't we just name it something? Call it StarCraft 2 Reborn or something like that.
No, just call it StarCraft 4. It'll be fucking 30 years from now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Who cares?
It'll be forever.
What Call of Duty are we on, chat? Are we on Call of Duty fucking 13?
No, it's like 18, I think.
What Call of Duty are we on? Can we not have a StarCraft 4? Is that okay? Yeah. If we're on Call of Duty 21, we can have a StarCraft 4.
I mean, even Warcraft got a number 3. Jesus Christ. Come on.
Yeah, I remember the sadness of realizing, like, everyone would always talk about it too, like, oh, StarCraft 2 or Brood War was this old when StarCraft 2 was announced or whatever. Yeah. Right? Where it's like, oh my God, that's how much time has gone by, right? And it's like, oh, this is the amount of time that StarCraft 2 was actually released, right? And then it kept going. We're like fucking 10 years later, right? Yeah. It's not even close. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty sad.
No, and it felt like we waited so long from Brood War to Star 2, and now it's been much longer than that with nothing in sight. Nothing.
Yeah, we were so sad. We waited. StarCraft 2 took 10 years, right? And then we blew by that in StarCraft 2 to StarCraft 3. Like,
so yeah, that's a free idea for you guys at Blizzard, Microsoft, Activision, whatever the hell it's called. Guys, remove the bad units that are poorly designed, that everyone knows is poorly designed because they keep getting patched because they're not designed well. Oh my God. And add in units that we all love.
Agreed.
And suddenly the game is, oh my God, that would be so hype. Okay.
I agree.